Celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday by helping families in need. Volunteers are spending the long holiday weekend renovating a 6-unit apartment building on 128th Street. Low-income families will be able to buy the condos at an affordable price. Christian, Jewish, and Muslim groups teamed up for 3 days to make it all possible. The last black jockey to win the Kentucky Derby a century ago will receive a rare honor on Martin Luther King Day. The New York Racing Association will hold the first annual Jimmy Wingfield Stakes at Aqueduct Track tomorrow. Wingfield was a world-famous jockey, winning back-to-back Kentucky Derbies in 1901 and 1902. But a racist backlash forced him to go abroad.
He had an extraordinary career that ran over 33 years in 8 countries, during which period he sort of managed to get along in 7 languages, won just about everything in sight.
This is the first time we've named a race for a jockey, and for any racing figure to be named, have a New York race named for him, it's an honor equivalent to going into the Hall of Fame.
Wingfield went on to become highly acclaimed as a jockey in pre-communist Russia and in France before World War II. He was inducted into the National Museum of Racing Hall of Fame last August.
Up next, new leadership, but is it the same old story? Demands to get tough on terrorists from the streets of New York to the halls of power in the Middle East.
Also ahead, will it be a new beginning in Washington? President Bush's second term is about to open old wounds and fierce debates.
Tonight, Israel's prime minister says he's waiting for Palestinians to act after PLO leaders called on militants to stop attacks on Israel. Until then, Ariel Sharon ordered his forces to step up military operations to stop the terrorists. His announcement came as a tank shell slammed into a Gaza refugee camp, killing 2 Palestinians. Sharon cut ties with new President Mahmoud Abbas after a suicide bombing killed 6 Israelis last week. And here in New York, people are remembering the Israeli victims killed in that strike. Protesters rallied outside the PLO mission on the Upper East Side today, leaving signs that called on Palestinian President Abbas to get tough on terrorists.
Republicans in Washington are ready to party. The inauguration of President Bush's second term is Thursday, but when the celebration is over, both political parties will be ready for battle on everything from war to Social Security. Jennifer Johnson reports.
A dress rehearsal in Washington Sunday for Thursday's presidential inauguration. President Bush will officially begin his second term, facing challenges both domestically and abroad. Democrats vow a major battle over the president's plan to partially privatize Social Security.
Republicans have been against Social Security since the time it's passed, and the Democrats are not going to let this administration dissemble it.
But Republicans say they will fight for change.
Social Security today is in crisis, in large part because of the demographic shift, the demographic tidal wave that is occurring because of the baby boom, which first really hits about 2008.
With elections in Iraq just 2 weeks away, the president is urging Americans to be patient and says he sees his re-election as a complete endorsement of his Iraq policy. Democrats scoff at that and say the president has badly mishandled post-war Iraq.
They said it was going to be easy and quick. It's turned out to be long and hard. There was not a plan for the occupation. There was not a plan for an exit strategy.
The White House disagrees.
We have a strategy. Our strategy is to allow our security forces to train Iraqis to make sure they can defend themselves.
Mr. Bush begins his next 4 years considerably less popular than recent second-term presidents. President Bush has an approval rating around 50%, well below support enjoyed by Presidents Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan, and Bill Clinton. President Bush's inaugural address will focus on spreading freedom worldwide, and analysts say his presidency will likely be judged on just that, whether he can make Iraq a success. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News, Washington.
Coming up, not only was there glitter and glitz at the Golden Globes, an award-winning night took actor Jamie Foxx on an emotional roller coaster ride.
And get out all of the blankets you have immediately. You're going to need them. Joe's forecast is a frigid one.
Okay.
Right now.
I used to think it was corny when people would say that people are looking down on you. And I didn't believe it. But I got a feeling. Thank you.
An emotional Jamie Foxx tonight thanking his grandmother at the Golden Globes, the woman he holds responsible for all of his success. He's kicking off the busy awards season with what he says is the ride of his life. Foxx won for Best Actor in a musical or comedy as Ray. Annette Bening won Best Actress in that genre for Being Julia. Clint Eastwood snatched Best Director for $1 Million Baby. Leonardo DiCaprio won Best Actor for his role as Howard Hughes in The Aviator, which also won for Best Dramatic Film. And the hit new series Desperate Housewives took home the honor as Best TV Comedy.
And what's the best way to experience the backstage Golden Globe action? By watching Access Hollywood, of course. Backstage Access starts right after Mic'd Up, the Francesa Sports Final. But right now, we're going to get the forecast, and there seems to be a little snow.
There is a little snow, but very light for the city. The main bulk of the snow is over eastern Long Island and eastern Connecticut, so we escaped the snow for the most part, but very cold temperatures are on the way. Let's check out the temperature right now with cloudy skies in the city. It's about 28 degrees right now. That is the current temperature. Winds, not too bad at the moment, but they're going to get stronger as we progress into the next 24 to 48 hours. Winds now to the north at 10 miles an hour. Humidity 58%. Barometer is strong, but starting to fall off. 31 and 28 high and low for the day with no precipitation yet. 58 the record. It stays in 1995. And 13 inches of snow happened about 1879. That stays the record. The headlines show what's to come. A blanket of snow in parts of the tri-state. Very light for the city. Better chance eastern Long Island. But the cold stays put for the next few days. And then dangerously cold wind chill factors over the next few days as we see very, very strong winds and cold temperatures coming out of Canada. Your temperatures now are in the mid-20s. And these are ideal temperatures and conditions for very light snow, which is occurring. But look at the wind chill values now. They have already come down to 13. That's what it feels like for you in White Plains. It feels like 15 in Stamford and 14 at Islip. So it is cold right now. The very latest storm tracker radar shows the bulk of the action now over Long Island. And even NextRad 4 does show very light snow now from Southampton through Riverhead, also Shirley and Long Island. And then as you notice to the west, not that much going on, just cloudy skies in the city and over Nassau County. And the bigger picture again shows a dry slot right over the city. And to the west, very light snow. This is a smaller area of low pressure that will be skirting across by tonight. But the snow advisory for Suffolk County and for eastern Connecticut continues. A storm comes very close. It's a bigger storm, but it stays pretty much over the ocean. And that's the reason why the coastal areas of New England and Suffolk County will get most of the snow. In the city, just a light coating, maybe a trace, maybe an inch, but that's really about it. 2 inches in some isolated pockets in northwestern New Jersey. Otherwise, generally about 2 to 3 inches over Suffolk County with isolated areas over the Twin Forks of Long Island, maybe up to 5 inches. And of course, the Boston area, and as you head out over Cape Cod. Otherwise, really and truly, it's not a bad snow situation, but a bad cold situation that's coming up over the next few days. So 24 degrees for tonight, periods of very light snow in the early morning hours over the city. Better chances, of course, over Suffolk County. And then tomorrow morning, you'll wake up to cold conditions. Light snow in the afternoon, 26 degrees, blustery. It turns very, very cold and windy, and the wind chill factors go down below zero by tomorrow night. 31 degrees by tomorrow with the snow tapering off, especially over Long Island by, we say, early afternoon. And then 25 degrees Tuesday, 19 at night, 32 on Wednesday. Maybe some more light scattered snow flurries by Thursday. But it stays below freezing all week and overnight. Low temperatures in the teens. But it could be slick by tomorrow morning in parts of the area, especially over eastern Long Island. So drive safely. And, of course, we'll keep you posted. And Chris Amino will be in tomorrow morning with the very latest updates.
All right. Thank you very much.
Coming up, an airline pilot is grounded after police accuse him of being...
And the Fockers get dethroned at the weekend box office. Find out who brought in the most money at the movies.
Have a story idea to share? Call News Channel 4 tip line toll free 866-639-7244 or log on to WNBC.com. Let News Channel 4 work for you.
An airline pilot accused of trying to fly while drunk has had his wings clipped. AirTran fired Oliver Reason, an 11-year veteran, specially certified to carry a gun in the cockpit. Las Vegas police arrested Reason Wednesday after a screener smelled alcohol in his breath. Police say his blood alcohol level was .09. That's over twice the legal flying limit.
It is a slam dunk at the box office this weekend.
Scared of who? Scared of you? I'm supposed to be scared of you?
Sorry, I want to see how that ended. The coach, Samuel L. Jackson's new starring role as a real-life basketball squad's mentor, scores tops with film fans. Coach Carter banked $23.6 million for the weekend, and it ended a 3-week triumph for Meet the Fockers, which dropped to second. The live-action computer animation combo film Racing Stripes narrowly won third place, edging out In Good Company. Rounding out the top 5, Jennifer Garner's Elektra.
Well, we know you're going to be going to see Coach Carter.
Yeah.
Coming up in sports, 2 Titans go toe-to-toe in the AFC playoffs in snowy New England. Bruce Beck is next with sports.
Closed captioning provided by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's moving forward.
Bruce is, of course, back from Pittsburgh. There was all this talk about the field, Bruce, all this matchup. None of it.
I don't think it mattered. I think the game was over before it began. It was built as the marquee matchup of the NFL playoffs. The defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots, coached by defensive mastermind Bill Belichick, hosting the Indianapolis Colts, led by record-setting quarterback Peyton Manning. It was a defensive struggle in the first half, but New England running back Corey Dillon managed to break off this 42-yard run in the second quarter. It led to a 31-yard field goal by Adam Vinatieri. The Patriots led 6-3 at the half. Now, late third quarter, 3rd and goal for New England, and Tom Brady scrambles out of the pocket and finds David Givens for a 5-yard touchdown pass. The Patriots take a 13-3 lead. The New England defense held league MVP Peyton Manning in check all day long. Here Manning connects with Reggie Wayne, who has the ball wrestled away from him by Rodney Harrison, and Teddy Bruschi recovers the fumble. Manning falls to 0-7 in Foxborough as the Patriots knock out the Colts for the 2nd consecutive year, 20-3 the final. The Patriots meet the Steelers next Sunday in Pittsburgh for the AFC Championship. Meanwhile, the Eagles tried to make it 4 consecutive trips to the NFC Championship game when they hosted the Vikings. The Eagles got on the scoreboard first. Donovan McNabb finding Freddie Mitchell on a 2-yard touchdown pass, and then Mitchell says, "Take this, Randy Moss," as he pulls his pants up. 7-0 Philly. In the second quarter, it's McNabb to Rutgers product L.J. Smith, who gets popped by Antoine Winfield, but the ball somehow ends up in the hands of Mitchell, just how Coach Andy Reid drew it up, 21-7 Eagles. Later in the quarter, the Vikings try to fake field goal, but Randy Moss didn't know he was supposed to be on the field. So instead, Gus Frerotte was forced to throw the ball away. The Eagles led 21-7 at the half. Now late in the third, Minnesota trying to convert a 4th at the Eagles 31, but Dante Culpepper's desperation pass for Moss gets batted to the turf. The Eagles cruise to a 27-14 victory. So the Eagles host the Falcons for the NFC Championship on Sunday. Well, in 1925, Calvin Coolidge was president. The Pittsburgh Pirates won the World Series, and Paul Newman, Sammy Davis Jr., and Yogi Berra were born. And on this day in 1925, Fordham's Rose Hill Gym opened its doors. Today, exactly 80 years later, the Rams hosted Xavier. Trailing by 2 with 16 seconds to play, the Musketeers keep the ball alive, and finally Brian Thornton picks up the loose ball and scores on the putback to tie the game at 74. Fordham doesn't call timeout, and Kevin Anderson goes coast to coast for the slam. The Musketeers get one last chance, but fail to get a shot off. Fordham wins the thriller on the 80th anniversary of Rose Hill Gym, 76-74. In women's college basketball, number 4 Rutgers lost to number 5 Ohio State, 52-50. And when we come back, I'll look back at the season that was for Gang Green, a season that ended last night in Pittsburgh. Stay with us.